Yep. That's, I think you're on.
Yeah, I need the hammer. Give me the hammer. Give me the hammer. Yep.
Oh, no, you did something.
Yeah, is it on?
Good. We're back on. We're back on.
Oh, Jesus. All right, cool.
Okay, yeah, so there was a little bit of a delay, but it would appear as though we've all wrangled it in just proper right here.
Great.
Sometimes tech things happen, and,
Sure.
well, of course, we have addressed those issues, and we have restarted. Oh,
Christ.
sorry, man. I thought we were ready.
Anyway.
Yes, we have gotten this bad boy back underway, and we do have another best of one coming your way. In fact, Chad, would you tell the matchup that we have?
Woo! Furia versus Avangar, the two youngest teams in the tournament going toe-to-toe, and we're going to get this one underway any minute.
And again, I want to apologize on behalf of myself and everyone around me for the delay that we have incurred. But we are just about ready to live on 3. It's just about that time as we do approach the witching hour of 22:10. That's 10 past the hour of 10 o'clock at night here in Katowice, Poland. You can see James stretching it out and getting ready to lay down some frags here. Now, Furia in an interesting situation. We do know they've already meditated once. Will it have the same spark if they do it again, Chad?
Look, I think the fact of the matter is I did just mention these are two young teams, so these kind of delays can really cause havoc to younger squads. They have been here for very long periods of time, so these guys going toe-to-toe in what could potentially be a 0-2 for one of them, it's going to be a mental game. And we do know that the likes of Furia, they do that meditation. They sit there, they have the coach basically getting the mantra stuck into the squad. So let's see if that can work for them here, because versus the Ninjas in Pajamas, the oldest team at the tournament, they couldn't pull out anything.
Now, a lot of you might be wondering how it is that we ended up in this matchup that is Avangar versus Furia. And this is Swiss round 2. If you're just joining us for the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice Major, you've picked a pretty prime time because both of these teams having a lacking start there in being 0-1s respectively have netted themselves this what could be a 1-1 matchup for them.
They're having a bit of a laugh, which is always a good sign. I think we have, look, if we now reflect on the Avangar side of things, they played Renegades to kick off the day, right? And they played Train. Now, there was a couple of blunders there, a couple of misplays, but all in all, it felt like Renegades actually outclassed them. They're going to need to show a new style right now as we're getting into Mirage.
That's right. Mirage will be the battlefield of choice between Avangar and Furia, and we've actually got a taste of Furia earlier. They took on Nip, lost that one 16-6, which got them in this situation. It's all gone wrong for them just a little bit there. I kind of hear something of myself.
They'll turn that off. That's just the in-game audio. At least we're in the server now. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. We're back online and the pistol round is underway.
That's right, Chatty B, and it's time to tell you like it is. In fact, we're going to see quite a bit of aggression here from the CT side of Furia as they start on Mirage. They're going to try to hold up on B halls, maybe banking on the fact that they would see some early push there from the side of Avangar. Just simply didn't pan out that way. Instead, they're going to find themselves, at least Avangar underneath the window, looking for this boost. They're going to run into Yuri, and that's going to be a 1-for-1. James finding the response kill there, putting us down to 4 versus 4. Now they do have the option sort of flex up the connector, but Art finding that big USP headshot. That is not a good start, ladies and gentlemen. Now the sounds have been rang, the bells have been rung, and the alarms are ticking, because the fights are now turning more into 1-1. Here on Catwalk, Buster's trying to get something so that his teammates don't get shot in the back. And well, since it's not going the way they wanted to other than the bomb, Chad, this one really has fallen apart. Getting that bomb down, though, marginal success in what was otherwise Furia's round.
Some crisp shots there, and everybody on the side of Furia picking up one kill in that one. That's what we call a team ace. Everybody contributing, everybody getting that nice little confidence boost right there. So this is the start that they're looking for as Furia, a bit of a fan favorite at the moment. I guess the same could possibly be said for the likes of Avangar and their region, as they also have a unique playstyle. Now, things that we noted from the minor, things that we highlighted from the minor, was the way that they postured and played in middle. They have a couple of little maneuvers on their CT side that Avangar have to be ready and raring for. Aggressive plays, pushing people up into the crevice and corner near the top mid boxes. They also like to posture around the mid smokes, dropping their own and causing chaos, delaying that mid control as much as possible. But the AK buy is going to come out in Krizen's hands, and this is the mid aggression we were just talking about. This is not what you want to be doing against an eco.
Yeah, that's right. Furia able to have full mid control here. There is absolutely no battle to be had from the side of Avangar. Having just that one AK, that could prove to be an interesting purchase. Alongside it will be 2 Deagles and a P250. James rocking that Glock, and, well, if there's anyone I'd probably want to have the firepower in this situation, would be him. Of any sort, at least, but in this case, they have been stopped dead in their tracks, trying to find something. They do have that little bit of contact there in connector. It's going to be Art that they do spot out, and ultimately, no damage has been exchanged in this round at the 1-minute mark.
Just so you can note right now, Avangar, even if they are unable to get anything done in this round, they'll still be able to purchase in the next. Krizen will just have to take a couple of compromises in his buy, but any damage they can do is going to be phenomenal going into the next gun round. So far, K Serrato getting the opening kill, and the A ramp push has netted them a lot of information.
Yeah, there is a heavy presence here. Krisen really doing the best that he can to sort of spearhead a path. But right now, it's going to be a barrel out onto this A site. Approaching that 30-second mark, the bomb is just going to be kind of teetering back there on A ramp. Any second now, the cross is going to be trying to come in here. However, Furia does have the appropriate response. Kukert finding the frag there with the FAMAS will get traded out by Art, and this one has been stopped before they could even get into the plant zone, Chad.
So you could even go into that saying they've done enough with 2 kills right there, because the economy right now, everybody other than Krisen has over 4K. They're going to be able to get a very stable buy with utility to back it in, and Krisen's just going to buy himself that Tech 9 with utility in tow. Now the CTs, that we had to drop some guns over, but this puts them in a bit of more of a troublesome position, because the utility and most of the weapons are going to cost a little bit more money, as well as the necessity for the defuse kit. So as you can see here, money looking very similar. Yeah,
that's right. I mean, that AK purchase being one thing, but the bomb going down in the first round definitely helps their case going forward. And Krisen, with that Tech 9, is going to elect to have himself an HE, a smoke, and what was a Molotov. But now that Kukert has found a kill in the round, this should start to unfold just a little bit better for them. They can find a little bit less tension here as they decide what side of the map they actually want to take on. And they have kind of sheltered themselves there within the realms of their own spawn. They're kind of sort of afraid to take middle. You can tell that they're just a little bit apprehensive, of course, of approaching this middle area, given that the control that Furia has decided to sort of try to put down in that area early on in this matchup, Chad.
The problem with this is once the utility dissipates, you're kind of just stuck in the open. And right here, right now, Vinny gets swung out on. He's going to get traded. Now we find ourselves in that 3-on-5 situation as 4 members of Avangar will be making their way through the middle corridor. We do have the big green in the hands of James, so if he can get an impact with that in this round, that's even more beneficial for Avangar and their confidence in this one.
That's right. 3 members for Furia will be left on their lonesome here. Luckily for them, though, they are set up there towards the A site. And Yuri finding 2 frags will prove to be a big one. Buster with the trade now leaves it up to Art and K Serrato, but that bomb's going to be planted for Avangar. Just kidding. Art is there to save the day. 30 seconds left on the clock, so still plenty of time to play with, but he has definitely put them in a weird position. 2 versus 2. James with the AWP. We know what he can do with it. And this is a situation where Kuker's going to find that contact. He's not going to find the frag, though, and Art definitely has saved the day up to this point. He could have pulled the shot, but James didn't pull the trigger, and that's going to be a round on the board there for Furia. Really chaotic there towards the planting times, but ultimately, Furia were able to get it done, and I really have to kind of look at Art for that round success.
Yeah, he's the in-game leader of this team as well, and I think, you know, the innovation, or at least the unique style that these guys have really brought into it. This here isn't a unique play by any means, but the fact that he's able to grab that second kill as they're coming up connected gives them that chance. Art's in a difficult position as no one's there to clear that directly, and they're able to snatch that one away. So right here, right now, forced buy or a partial buy, will come out on the sides of Avangar. And this mid-aggression again. Furia have no qualms with taking the fights, with getting in their face and getting it done. Damage being exchanged between Kiko and Vinny. In case Serrato over towards B with the Auger as well will be finding damage. He's going to drop off. He doesn't have a chance to reload. He's being swarmed. He's going to find one, but that should be enough to stifle the rest of this attack.
Yeah, and with these pistols, I mean, the expectations probably were pretty low, and just that little bit of resistance there toward the B side is going to ultimately push Avangar back. They're going to have to restructure here. Sort of go back to the game plan and the drawing board, given that they don't have much to work with, a smoke and a flash between the 3 of them. And, well, both Avangar's map win percentage and pistol round percentage are identical at 25% on Mirage in the past 3 months on land. So if that's not an indicator as to how this is all going to unfold, Chad, I don't really know what the numbers have to tell you.
Well, the fact of the matter there is you look at the context of that stat, it means they're getting more done on their gun rounds, right? They're not reliant on the pistol rounds to be competitive on a map like Mirage. So with that in mind, not such a bad sign early, but the fact that they did lose a gun round where they had a heavy advantage, that's where we start to really question it. Now, I'm curious, will Furia continue with this mid-aggression? Because they've set a precedent now. They've shown that they like to go aggressive.
Well, they've got Avangar on the ropes there. The Avangar know that they can't really get out and challenge this middle sort of hold, this middle sort of defensive structure from the side of Furia. And at this moment, we're going to start seeing some AKs come out again, some more utility, and perhaps an even better buy, more stable buy, I could say, on the side of Avangar. But that timeout will be just about the stabilizing factor for them as they also look to get back into that playbook and see what they want to do now that they've got an op in the hands of James. And then AKs and utility to the side of him. Now, we know James can really put some damage downrange. We know what he's capable of with this AWP. And if there's a time to come alive, it would be now in this first half to really stop Furia from kind of running away with the momentum and letting this half slip away from them.
I think the fact of the matter is they are going to have to contest towards middle to keep Furia honest. If they keep allowing a player to posture and push aggressively, what's going to happen is it means when they go to take it mid-round, they're going to have to use a lot more utility to push that one player back. Doesn't appear they've gone for a faster approach. They do want to go over towards B to see if they can find a free kill. And they are putting pressure on middle, so this had the potential for a B split, but Art will stop that straight away with the cat pick onto Buster, and immediately a minute 33 seconds left on the clock, and it's already a 4v5 situation with no map territory in the back pocket for Avangar.
And you could tell right now that by this middle contest here from both sides, Fitch hitting a pretty beautiful shot there on Art. You can tell that both teams wanting to have control of middle. Vinny's gonna continue the tirade there by taking down Fitch with the AUG. The now usual suspect.
Yeah, if we see M4s, that's where it's a little bit more unusual.
What happened? I mean, why M4? What year is it? Anyway, Kuker coming out here. He's going to take that player out underneath Bauk. He's going to force Furia to kind of resituate themselves because that bomb is now finding its way onto the A site. You're in a really good spot here towards that ticket booth, and now the cross. Provided they can get this little bit of utility they have to work with on Avangar, the Molotov going towards jungle.
Oh, no.
And Kuker just being evaporated there by the hands of another AUG. And it all has kind of come to a stall here. They need a pick big time for Avangar. They're going to try to cross over and just get this bomb down. He did get dinged. James holding from the ramp. Can't even get the bomb down. And with 25 seconds left on the clock, James, he can't even be that quick to save this one for him. And that's going to be another round on the board for Furia.
Yeah, we've been talking about how good this kid is, but getting into a 1-on-3 without the bomb with 20 seconds left on the clock, that's an impossibility. So holding on to the AWP is the best case, and they're not going to chase him. They're going to allow him to hold on to this. And what you might see happen as a symptom of this is they might try and force buy behind that AWP. They might try and... Ooh, actually... Maybe they will get aggressive as the ladder noise is made. Haven't completely pushed on up, and he will get to keep the AWP to fight another day.
Well, Chad, I don't know if you know this, but Pick'em, this thing going on, right?
Okay, yep.
And there's this weird other thing going on called the B stream. Now, it's not that weird, but what's weird about it is the fact that Winstrike currently up 7-1 on Fnatic.
What's going on with Fnatic today? They're not having a good time by any means.
Oh, no, this is definitely a team where people could say, okay, they're going to come in here and cause a lot of damage. I don't think that they really escaped anyone's pick 'em, but this is not a good look for them today and not a good look to start out the entire major here in Katowice.
And the boss man Khan is here as well, so I can imagine he's not too happy with the performance we've seen thus far, but it will be a force buy behind that AWP. A couple of players were a little bit more conservative with their investments. Buster has 2,400 and Fitch has 1,700 of his own, but this AWP leading the way up the A ramp. We'll be scoping towards Ticket off the back of that flash. If anybody peeks their little head up over, they'll be going down.
Going down indeed, and that balcony position there from Abel is going to prove to be a really rough one as they try to thwart off any sort of advance here from Avangar. Using those Molotovs pretty appropriately on the timing towards that A ramp, and James set up with AWP. They're going to try to put that smoke down and just keep them off this A site as long as possible. And for what Furia is doing now, it is actually working pretty well. Mind you, this buy is not exactly pretty from the side of Avangar.
Sure.
And really the only player in Buster with that smoke, you know, him finding himself top middle, waiting for some sort of aggression and maybe so they can pivot off it, not have to look at this A site. This is not poised to go well for that of Avangar.
Sure, and let's note why this is possible. Because they did put so much pressure on mid earlier, they're now hedging their bets that it's most likely going to be a bomb site play, and that's exactly the case. They've been able to delay over towards this A ramp with smoke grenades. 26 seconds left on the clock. They have that AWP, but there's no way in, and they're going to take the attack.
Yeah, they're going to have to take the attack here. They've worked this clock down to no end. A big kill there from Fitch as the timer does continue to tick. 14 seconds left on the clock. Furia in a prime position to get a spray down. 10 seconds. The clock is ticking ever so faster.
No.
And that bomb is actually going to be planted. Buster and James having come alive in this round. It's now Caserado and Vinny going to try to retake this one in what is a 2v4. This has fallen apart here for Furia. And this Vinny kill could be what they need to get back in the round. He finds the one onto James there in the site. The bomb planted in the open. Krisen there towards Tetris does have just a little bit of capability to become that turtle he needs to be and really kind of pull back, pull those shots, draw them in closer, and maybe get the swings. But Krisen, finding that kill in the Caserado almost certainly puts the nail in the coffin for Furia in this round. It's going to be a first one there for Avangar. Grabbing the first round of this match, Chad, a big one.
So if you look at that round, up until the fact that, hey, Furia panicked. That's what went wrong right there. They did everything perfect. Like I mentioned, they'd set the precedent for their mid-aggression. They were playing the bomb sites, using their utility to milk down the clock. And as the attack came in, all they really had to do was sit and wait. The whiff spray from Sandwich never even really needed to happen. That guy didn't need to pivot. The jiggle peek baited him well and truly. Then you see the push from the CT player to the triple box. He's thinking, if I can deny the plant, we win the round. Trying to get it done on his own. And that is the mistake. Because Furia has such fantastic teamwork in all of these situations, they just need to go back to what they know works, what they practice, and make sure that these moments don't get the better of them. Because as we mentioned, and this is important, these are two young teams, and Avangar, even though they are a young squad, have a lot more experience playing at this level of Counter-Strike than the likes of Furia.
Yeah, that's right. And this is a time where both teams have found defeat earlier on in the major. And, well, they definitely don't want to find themselves as an 0-2 team, because 3 being the magic number on either side, Chad, you really do lessen the sort of cushion that you have barreling through these brackets right now. See a little bit of a conversation going down there. And as we do that, I'll probably remind you of what's going on in the B stream, because it's still not looking pretty. A few more rounds have escaped Fnatic, even though it could be the round right here that Crims sort of saves the day and puts a second one on the board, and it will be just that. 9-2. Your score line over on the B stream, if you're just joining us.
This is mental. I know Winstrike are on the CT side of Train, but even still, like Fnatic coming into this, they've got one of the big talking points, Broland, the kid who's a prodigy from Sweden. We have a lot of them at this event. We've got Zywoo, obviously. We've got Sergey coming in from Ents as well. But the fact that Fnatic, they do get their second round on the board, as you were mentioning.
It's almost like I've seen into the future.
How have you done this?
You know, Chad.
We've already talked about the DeLorean.
Yeah, I do have that DeLorean, and we do have a timeout on our hands here. Meditations are off the table this time, though. These guys are trying to talk it over and get it going back, as we will do just that. 5-1 here on our stream, the A stream, with the A team of Sponge and Stunna.
Spunna?
Kind of inflated that one a little bit. I don't know. You want to be a casting duo, Chad?
I guess we could. Could be our new venture.
We could do that, or we could talk a little bit about how Avangar are now so deathly afraid to find themselves in this middle corridor and get punished. And that's really at the hands of Furia. They definitely put them in that situation.
Yeah, well, Furia have shown the aggressive players all over the map thus far. So sitting back in a very passive default like this and plugging all the holes, they have one guy in Palace, one guy looking towards the A ramp, James passively towards middle on the balcony there. He has another player in tow. And Mr. Fitch covering the underpass and the upper B push. Nothing can happen without them knowing. Aggressive positions can be taken. You can see where Abel is. You can see Yuri's baiting for him as well. So they need to make sure they can trade off of one another, because Abel only has that CZ75. Queserado over towards the other bomb site only has the UMP. So lots of pressure on those players. And Art as well is going to get tagged up in middle, which forces him back, aware of the potential duel from Palace. And now, after they've done that, looks like when they want to regroup and go for an A execute, because they played such a passive default trace and didn't go for map control, they have so much utility to use to do this A attack. But will they expect these players so close A ramp? That's the question.
Yeah, and this could fall like dominoes too. You could really think that this fires back onto Furia. No matter the buy that they do have, they've kind of put themselves in a do or die position, having played this close. Art kind of out in the open with this AWP, and he's going to find Kuker here any second. That should be the first point of contact. He does just that. AWP reigns supreme. Abel J is able to also get one. And the fight will continue on A ramp. Buster on cleanup duty, finding 2 for himself. 3 versus 3 now. AWP still in the hands of Jane. And that bomb is going to go down with little to no time to rectify the situation for Avangar. Buster and Jane had to do something there. Buster doing a little bit of something. It's not going to be enough, though. The timer will tick out. This will be another round for Furia. And, you know, I was really questioning that forward posturing there on the ramp. I was really saying, you know, this really could backfire. And you know, it really could have. And unfortunately, I didn't have the time machine in this moment. I was not able to see that far in the future. There was a glitch in the main.
You can't always get it right, but I think the utility usage of Furia, especially towards that A ramp in the last 2 rounds, has been on point. The fact that they dropped one just because of panic, they're able to recover. They haven't let that fluster them, and they got straight back into it. So now we're going to see a full gun round from both teams coming in here. Art doesn't actually have a weapon in his hands. I'm not sure if he is aware as he's running around spawn looking for it. But meanwhile, while he's a headless chook, the aggression in middle is going to find Buster, who's getting caught yet again. James has to drop back. And a gun will be found. Art's found himself a UMP, and Krislin's found himself onto the A-bomb site.
Yeah, that's right. Getting out on the site has been half the battle, but they can't do anything with it. 2 members falling there for Avangar is going to leave James and Fitch alone. And that lonely feeling that Fitch must have all the way over here, knowing that had things not fallen apart at the seams, that he could have perhaps found a kill here that really changed the tide of the round, maybe even persuaded his teammates to rotate back around. But for what it's worth, and yes, X-Ray teetering on and off, a real awkward position. Caserado and Fitch bound to make contact here any second. It'll just be who gets wind of who first. It's going to be a real weird one. Perhaps ships passing in the night here. You wouldn't believe it if I made it up.
Oh, no.
And I certainly didn't. Chad, he has the drop here on Art. He's going to find the kill. It's only a matter of time. But Caserado.
Good play by him, not panicking in this moment. If he gave away his position and died to a player coming through, Abs could have been all over.
A real heads-up play here from Caserado. They have absolutely no idea that he's hiding out in this jail. He's going to hear that bomb plant come out. That swing did, in fact, put them in the worst possible position. Fitch not having cleared that did prove to be the kryptonite here for Avangar in this round. It's going to be Fitch that's going to have to do something crazy here by putting away 3 members of Furia. Does have the bomb, and he's going to start getting some frags here. Finds the first one. Knows that Caserado is hanging around somewhere, but he's got to be cognizant of that third player, and the third player finds him before. It's going to be Vinny, and it's going to be another round here for Furia. Look, as this first half is quite the landslide, Chad.
As the kitchen / checkers / whatever you want to call it in your matchmaking games player, you're going to be frustrated as all hell to being able to sneak through and grab that frag. But winning the round in competitive matches like this is all that matters. So Caserado ended up being the hero with that play.
I think it sounds something like this, Chad. You were watching. You clear the hall.
Or you get the teammate who mutters under their breath.
You said it was clear.
Yeah, they're always the fun ones.
Yeah, they really are the life of the party, aren't they? Sort of like this buy right here, Chad. There's not much here for Avangar to show for their monetary situation.
This is what my Friday nights look like now. Pretty flat and uninspired.
We'll tap into that story a little bit later on as this develops, but Fitch having found the first kill of the round and doing it with the Deagle. However, trade's coming in now.
Oh, that was sharp by Vinny, and he's going to have Art there to cover him off, and he's doing all the work. So the mid-aggression has come out again. I like the fact as well that they are doing it against the ecos. It is very risky, but what you're doing is, I guess if you have enough players, you have good enough utility usage, you're still going to have the advantage there and should be able to mop those kills, and continuing to instill the fear that, hey, if we want to go aggro mid, we're going to bring it to you. You need to be wary of this. So let's see now the approach, because so far, entry frags have been few and far between from Avangar, who are not looking like they're getting into this game.
Yeah, not anytime soon, and not at the pace that they're doing it with. Of course, shout out to a lonely Sean Gares as he does walk by with a cappuccino. That's right, get your Kappas in chat. Now's your opportunity, as the big Kappa is in town, and that's going to be Art with his AWP. Taking down James, and this was a big buy here for Avangar, already against the ropes in terms of a deficit in rounds. Any little kill is going to be detrimental, except for in this case, it's going to be Hukert and Fitch opening up things on the A-bomb site. We might, in fact, see a bomb plant here. They got to back Art off with his AWP. He's going to elect to stand in it for quite some time, taking a considerable amount of damage before Krislen finishes him off. Vinny with the swing from B is only able to take down Krislen. And this has just been a back-and-forth, topsy-turvy affair here. This bomb is going to get planted over here at the A site. Caserado, I have a feeling he's going to go for this. He has absolutely no reason not to. It's 8-1. He does have plenty of the money in the bank. Looking to grab a few shots. Doesn't really know where to find that second player. Did take quite a bit of damage there. A great kill onto Buster with the AK. Now he's got to snip out this last player in Fitch. Fitch having 100 HP. AK in hand, hiding there towards the default side, and, well, it's going to be a little game of cat and mouse right now. Caserado working his way. He does know where he is now. He's going to go ahead and smoke off the bomb in an attempt to lure Fitch out just around that smoke, and it would be a battle through the smokes. That has been the storyline so far of the Major, and I don't think a map played into this one, Chad.
That would have been a huge clutch, back-breaking, as Avangar are already feeling the heat, but that one right there would have sucked any life out of these guys that they even thought they had left. Unfortunately, Trace, you were right. Caserado had money in the bank, but the rest of his team, or at least a few members, are not sitting so pretty. You know when you go out with some of those friends and you want to go out and have a nice dinner and some of them can't afford it?
Yeah, I've been around some people like that.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the situation that we're having right now. And the last thing you want to do is buy your friends something knowing that they won't pay you back. I know a couple of people like that too.
Yeah, and it's friends like that that eventually, I'm all about
They're not my friend anymore.
I'm all about helping a friend in need, or, a friend that's down. But there is a point where that becomes
robbery.
A toxic relationship, Chad.
Daylight robbery. So right now, I think Eco Call will most likely come in from the side of Furia. And there's 5,800 for Art, 5,800 for Caserado, but Abel, Only has 1,800, 2,600 for Yuri, and Vinny just under 4K. But it looks like I was wrong. The buy will be coming in. I can see an M4 in the hands of Art. Armor now being purchased by Quesarado. So this could just be the two of them on the rifles. I'm not quite sure how this one's going to pan out. As AWPs are being dropped across.
Yeah, and Art having proven that he can put a lot of work on board. We're looking at a guy that's 12-6 right now, 111 ADR. And according to the frags, I mean, we're not looking at too big of a disparity between the kills that are coming down the line here on Furia. We
Good
got an
team effort.
Yeah, we 8-2 score line across the board, and we're looking at 7, 8, 9, 12. Of course, Art with the AWP certainly helps things.
We've seen them win around like this before with similar weaponry. They obviously posture close towards that A ramp. They use their utility well. To note with their utility, they do have 5 smokes coming into this one, so that has been stifling for Avangar, who've taken things a bit more slowly. But here it appears they want to execute towards A relatively swiftly.
Swiftly will be the story that is told. As swift as a CZ in the night, it's going to be Fitch that falls to the hands of Abel. Meanwhile, James keeping it alive, and Buster really kind of sealing the deal on his own. Vinny with the weird frag, the cheeky one on the other side that's really not going to amount to a whole lot. You're not going to see Furia go for this one. In fact, they're going to probably peel off just with this AK and this AWP at this point and put another round on the board for Avangar. Is this where it starts is the real question, Chad?
Definitely so, because now, after this kind of a buy from Furia not getting a lot done, this is where you have to start asking the question. Do you go for another buy behind the 2 guns? You just did it then. You know, you were relatively competitive. You've won a round similar to this before. It's possible to win. But if you continue to go down that path and you lose and you save and you lose and you save, sure, your loss bonus is going to build up, but you're never going to get yourself in a complete buy round situation. But we have seen a lot of Mirage today. This is the 4th time it has been picked on day 1 of the Challenger stage. It's the most popular map so far.
And almost as popular as the people that picked Windstrike for their pick'ems. Right now, 13-2 in the second half. Today? Pistol. 13-2, Fnatic the lesser. My goodness, Chad, it's all gone wrong, hasn't it?
Fnatic with the #1 seed in the tournament based off their peers.
From the looks of it, they might be just grabbing a pistol here, so it's not all said and done over there on the B stream, but if you're going to do it,
look at this.
Just hit Control-T. Stick around with us. We've got Avangar Furia over here, and this buy is a little weird. Yuri's trying to hold this here connector with the Deagle off in the hands of Quesarado, and really a pretty weird sort of buy on this side, but with the guns they saved from last round, they had to kind of do something.
It's always a question, right? As an in-game leader, you go, do we have enough to get it done, or should we be conservative? If you just kept the AK and the AWP, and they got picked off, it's basically a wasted round, a wasted weapons.
Well,
this is a good peek. I like this angle to take this window duel.
Yeah, going for the window duel, and Buster comes out on top over Quesarado, so there's one weapon out of the equation. It's going to be that AWP. So perhaps Furia can fetch that. One of the players, maybe even sort of transition back and grab it and put it back into play, because as it stands, Avangar stand 1 man up. They do have mid control in the situation. Now, this is what could be considered a real turning point here for how they want to approach Furia's defense in the rest of this half. They're trying to work their way up catwalk. Abel grabs one, knows that there's a second, potentially a third there. While that's going on, Art's able to get one himself. So while Abel does fall, the only one making it all the way up catwalk would have been Jane, trying to find their way into this B site, and that dream is slowly dwindling. Buster and James, real low HP. Buster, though, finding a kill, as well as the AWP there on Art. So this has now come down to a 1 versus 1. If you can believe it, James on 18 HP, 2 kills to his name in the round, AK-47 in hand with the bomb. And he has no idea where Art is, but with that AWP, 8 seconds on the clock, James going to be getting this bomb down in the B site. Planning for catwalk. Art's going to have to rotate now through CT spawn. And James is going to have to set in, dig in for the long haul here. Art making his way now through the connector, through the market.
No kit, that's the problem.
Yeah, no kit. That's going to prove to be very, very problematic, especially having 1 flash. There's not a whole lot he can do. Hope to catch him off. Maybe he got the information. Maybe it got relayed that James is really low. He does have 18 HP, but James has really put himself in a one-and-done position. That's all it's going to take here to win this round. With 18 HP, the bomb planted, it's going to be Art that walks right into his crosshair. Not a chance in the world that any sort of paintbrushes are coming out there for Art and Furia in that round. Sorry, Chad.
Did you have Art Attack in America?
Art Attack?
Yeah, it was a show that we had in Australia. I'm pretty sure it was a British show. But basically, it was a guy who did a lot of different art things. It was pretty cool. But the coolest thing he did was he had a massive open space, and he would use salt, lots of bags of salt, to make these giant kind of pictures.
We
anyway,
had Bob
Google.
Ross, Chad.
Yeah, Bob Ross is pretty cool. Anyway, we are going to see an eco round come out, and this is eventually what we talked about. The economy has been whittled down. They do have 5 Deagles, and Quesarado has a HE and a flashbang. But we have seen some crisp shots out of Furia, so there's no reason they can't do it with the Deagles. And Avangar have been struggling with the mid-round direction. If they get caught in one of those flurry crossfires and unexpected positions from pistols, they tend to play different spots than rifles just because of, I guess, the ability to be quite mobile.
And in this instance, Furia, we were talking about the sort of control they had over this middle area. That has really kind of faded as this half has evolved. Avangar now the one with that sort of control. And for as lacking as this buy was, Furia just trying to put some frags on the board, cause some kind of damage there to Avangar. And they're going to get all 5 of them here in the B site. Not a whole lot they can hope to do. Got 3 Deagles amongst Abel, Yuri, and Art. And with that bomb planted, I can't see a world where I guess these guys could save their Deagles and hope to take them in the next round, but hell with it, Chad. I say just go for it.
I think they're just hoping to see if they can scavenge themselves some AKs in all this madness.
Perhaps exits or something along those lines.
Yeah. The thing is, the economy isn't huge right now, but it's going to start to swell after this round, especially if all 5 players from Avangar are allowed to stay alive, which is going to be the case. We will see the gun round come out now from Furia, so this is the question. Do they go back to that in control?
I got a real question for you, Chad.
I might have the answer.
Well, it does look like by the hair of the chinny chin chin of Exist, they have been able to put a 5th round on the board against Winstrike.
That's a climb.
Looking real scary there. It's going to be a grind back on the B stream.
Just like Avangar are doing right now, that's 4 rounds on the stretch.
That's right.
These last 2 are going to be very telling. If you can finish this half 10-5 after what all things were considered, I wouldn't be too disappointed if I was Avangar. We know they can put up a pretty beastly CT side.
That's right. New Aug City, the destination here for Furia. They've got 2 M4s and 3 Augs. Not a whole lot of utility and only 2 kits between the 5 of them, so they're going to have to use this wisely. They're going to elect to play close up on this ramp. Now, they have found success with it in the past, but it's going to be an opening duel here. Able to win that one. Do that Aug yet again. Chiming in with 2. You got the duo. James finding an op kill there in middle.
They're so ready for the aggressive mid plays now.
And they're playing it just right. You know, you see James get this kill. He's not necessarily hard charging up there to keep clearing it. He sees that there's absolutely no point in doing that. He doesn't have any players there on his team to sort of back him up. But the numbers game has not gone in favor just yet of Avangar. It's now just at even strength. Buster finding a kill on Abel in the halls of Palace, I guess is what you'd call it in the year 2019. But still, no headway made out onto either of these bomb sites here. Crizzen with the most forward position.
Can I just note something?
Try to back up. What you got, Chad?
Just quickly, we saw with the X-ray, Quesarado rotate towards that bench position once more. And during the minors, he played this spot a lot. We saw Vinny play it in a previous round. We've seen him play it in this game as well. So if you're Avangar and you're going onto this B bomb site, or if you're any team versing Furia on Mirage, that has to be one of the spots that you're hard clearing because they play it more often than not. And these are the tendencies which you need to be really looking out for in high-pressure matches like this one.
Yeah, and Furia, not even a reaction there from Vinny. I would have loved to have seen if his crosshair moved, but there is a chance he wasn't even looking at his screen in that moment, maybe looking at a teammate screen. Perhaps some people do fall victim to that more often than not, but it's going to be Yuri here left to defend this A bomb site by himself. He's going to have a counterpart in Quesarado across the map. The time has ticked down. And as Quesarado falls, it will certainly be also at the failure of Yuri here, trying to get it going with the Deagle through the box there. Ticket can't even land one. We're going to see another round on the board for Avangar. The bounce back is real.
Indeed. This is a good half after all things considered.
That's right. Last night I took a L.
Last night you took an L.
Last night took a L, but this morning bounced back, Chad.
Oh, is it the song?
Would you know it if I made a pop reference?
No, I'm not really into pop culture. I like Counter-Strike.
It's a hip-hop reference, I guess.
Cool.
Well, here's a timeout for you as we do actually kind of round out this half. It's going to be 8-6 currently for Furia. And Chad, you got to wonder what's going on in the camp.
Here's the problem for Furia. They normally play their T-sides quite quickly. Most rounds barely tick under that 1 minute mark. So the fact that they're going to be going into the second half after potentially losing 6 rounds on the stretch is difficult to carry that momentum through. As you can see right here, the guys from Avangar, they're looking happy. They're on the comeback. They've had a resurgence. Once they're able to establish that economy, make sure they can punish the pushes of Furia, it feels like they've dealt with the gimmicks that they have. And now the CIS squad, the champions of the CIS minor, are getting a bit of confidence under themselves.
Yeah, and you got to wonder, too, is Furia going to find that wind back under their sails that they had in the beginning part of this half? I mean, everything was going their way. They seemingly found the comfort level that they wanted, and they were really in the driver's seat there.
Yeah,
is he looking into our soul?
Maybe.
Was that? Oh, yeah, that's definitely a soul look right there.
That smile, it's disarming.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? We know you're talking about us. I'm looking right at the monitor, looking at you, looking at me, looking at you. And, well, for what it's worth, we're right on the edge of ending out this half. Buys across the board, everything you can scrounge up. Abel with 4K in the bank, he's going to have to buy as well. We do see the AWP there on James. And, again, a player that we would like to see really show that sort of flashy display that he has been hailed for in the previous months. Avangar need that right about now.
I'm curious if this is a technical or tactical pause, as we don't have the little bubble up on the screen identifying the issue. So let's assume that it is a technical pause, as Trace, once the B stream rears its head, are they also in a similar boat to us?
It does feel like there is a very similar thing going on over there. Not a similar thing, but a similar thing, I should say.
Well, I didn't put the drill away yet, so yeah, look, if we need to fix some things, I've still got all my tools here.
I mean, it's not DeWalt, but
well, the reason it took so long to fix it is because I had to fly everything out from Australia. I still had it all in the old man's shed, so that's a bit of a problem that we had. But hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this isn't going to take too long, as the players aren't communicating during technical pauses. This is why you don't see any conversation going on. There's no typing. They're not allowed to do any of those things because this is I guess while we fix the error on our end,
yep,
they sit and stew.
And this pause still coming in. We can take a look at some of the numbers instead. A very split affair on the side of Furia. Started this half with a vengeance, and with the fury of fire itself, it's kind of slowed down. It's kind of snowballed in the way of Avangar as we got later into this half. You can see 5 rounds put together in a row there for them. And they're going to look to make it 6 in a row if they can grab this last one, round number 15 among us. And, well, Chad, here we are. Nonetheless, is it podcast time?
What do you want to have for dinner?
What do
you feel we've already eaten?
I had some paella earlier. It was pretty good.
I guess it feels like it's earlier than it actually is.
Yeah, Chad, we're pushing about 15 till 11 p.m. local time.
CET. For those of you playing at home.
Playing at home, watching at home, a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Maybe you could tweet at Stunner and I, at Stunner, at Sponge, hashtag IEM, and we'll be taking viewer questions right here, right now on the wireless.
Also, I would like to see the setup that you are watching the stream from. I think that one of you's got to have something cool going on at the very least. Some stretching coming in there. I'm not far from doing it myself, Chad. Get a light stretch in, maybe some calisthenics, maybe some PRT.
Yeah, like I think every day if you wake up, you do some sit-ups, you do some push-ups, maybe you do that 7-minute workout app, you get the heart, get the blood flowing. It's a good way to start the day. But I'm saying it's good. I don't really do it myself.
I mean, health is important, but also so is fitness. And when I say fitness, I'm talking about fitness cheeseburger in my mouth, Chad.
Well, we're back into it, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. We have somehow found ourselves
a solution
to the very last round of the half. That's right. You waited for it ever so patiently, and I'm going to give it to you as it stands. Fitch taking a considerable amount of damage here early on in the round, half health, basically. AK in hand, we're going to see a full-on buy. Everybody spent everything they got. No pennies were spared in this moment. Op in the hands of James, rightfully where it belongs. Looks as though it's been sort of a stalling tactic here. Avangar having that full mid-control now. There's a player from Furia in the ladder room, so, I mean, perhaps he could catch a glimpse of what's going on underneath the window, but it looks like they're going to try to get something going here and work their way up connector, all the while cognizant there could be a guy pushing off Cat which would make this really weird. They're going to elect to go towards this A site, this A connector, with little to no utility being used. And they do have quite a bit still in their pocket, Chad. This is going to set up for probably an A take.
Yeah, this is what we saw them do earlier in the half without success. They found the opening kills, they had the number advantage, but they walked into the AUG of Yuri, and he found 2 huge frags. But here they have the opening. Damage has been done to Krisen, and Queserado has left the B bomb site, which has caused a rotation to come on over and back him up. So he wants to get aggressive. He wants to find the information before they make it onto the A bomb site for free. Abel has played this position somewhat extensively.
And they have gotten out onto this bomb site without dropping a member. Until now, Queserado and R coming alive. Fitch also with the reply,
Whoa.
but Jame, a humongous kill onto the ticket there. And Abel out of the round, Jame with 2. This one's coming down to Queserado, and there's not a whole lot he can do. Can't really say this is the last round of the half, bud. You got to get in there, and you got to get something going. The bomb ticking ever so quickly, and we're about at the halfway mark on that. Not really sure where he wants to go. Looks as though he doubted himself. Finding one on Kukert. It might be all in vain, though. Fitch is going to be ready for that should he cross the plane over into the site. Then, of course, the ever-present Jame there with the AWP.
Just die, bro. The round's over.
Yeah, this one's all said and done. And wow, what
Nice
a shot there on the Jame. That
I'll
was
give you that one.
impressive. Ultimately not going to be worth anything. Round going to that of Avangar. We do see an 8-7 half here, rounding out what was the first half of an 0-1 matchup in the Swiss system.
Let's get it to the break and come back with the second half of Fury in a moment.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The Intel Extreme Masters carries on here in what is the best of one of Avangar versus Furia. And this was a little bit of a roller coaster. Should you have been an Avangar fan, it was looking quite bleak there in the beginning, but they have managed to lasso some rounds down. 6 to be exact going into the second half. 6 in concession. And it's going to be myself, Trace Saranthus. You might know me as Stunna. And then to my right, my colleague here in Chad, the Sponge Birchill Sponge.
I was thinking I could be like Chatty B, and you could just be like Tracy.
I don't think there's a world where that really works. But, I mean, yeah, I'm down. In fact, you could
be
probably...
Tracy?
If you have some good nicknames, if you could really rearrange Chad's in-game alias to be whatever it is you want it to be.
Spud Flanagan, I think they call me.
Let's get it on the social media. Let's get you activated. Let's see what sort of response you have, because I haven't seen any good setups yet. I'm going to need some more pictures from you guys using hashtag IEM at home.
I had a couple come through. I think someone was in a hospital bed.
Okay, that one, shout out to you for, being the loyal viewer that you are. And, best wishes. I hope whatever you're going through, you're able to come out on top.
There's a gentleman called Nicholas who tweeted and said, watching the major from my supremely messy desk. You see what he did there?
I do see what he did there, Chad. That's actually not bad.
That's pretty good. But we are just waiting to get this one underway. As you can see, James looking really impressed. Some would say not impressed at all.
I think what really needs to happen here, Chad, is ultimately at this point, there's probably enough Fs in chat to go around for all the pick'ems lost today.
Sure, yeah.
There were quite a
Heartbreaks.
few boo-boo faces after the losses that some of these teams incurred today. And you might have caught the biggest L. Perhaps you thought the Greyhound was going to go through 3-0.
I thought that they were going to go 0-3, which they probably still will. But I can actually do some deep analysis on the T side that I recall from the likes of Furia, if you'd like. We don't have to, like we can. Or we can talk about something else until the game looks like it's ready.
We can talk about just about anything you want. Now, the tweets are starting to load in now.
Pouring on in?
Yeah, they really are. And you know what? Some of you guys, I'm pretty envious of your setup.
No, they didn't make it to the major.
Yeah, you're right.
We're here all week,
man.
people.
Yep, that's right. They didn't make it to the major. In fact, the Kerrigan loan is done, and that whole project
It's probably going to mouse spots.
Will be a very interesting one. We don't have any spoilers here, but that was Chad Sponge Birchill.
Can you spell that for everyone out there?
That's CHAD, CHURCHILL.
Yeah, that's how we do spell in America.
Chad Churchill.
Anyway, looking at some of my notes for the T-side play from the minor for that of Furia, let's see what I've actually jotted down here. I did mention earlier that they enjoy a faster paced play, quite aggressive through that mid corridor like everybody, but they're still running not a scrimmy style. It's thought out, but it can be seen as a bit scrimmy because that is it's a 50-50 play. It's a messy, scrappier play. But when they can get those snowball rounds happening, they just maul you, right? Here's the thing with this team. You can tell that they're well drilled. You can tell that they have a very good system. So when they do go for their executes as well on their T side, they're very well drilled, meticulous, Molotovs, flashes, smokes, everything in perfect positions. Headsets are getting back on over there at the Avangar side of things. So hopefully we're getting back underway very soon. There was a couple of different pistol rounds that came out from the likes of Furia as well.
Indeed. And that is probably a testament to how that first half really kind of went in their favor early on. But as the story told itself, Chad, as it all kind of came to fruition, it did end out 8-7. So we have a pretty even and stabilized score line going into what will be the second pistol round here of this game.
You want some tidbits as well? Vinny was using the AUG and the Krieg, which is the SG, before the update came in to make them a viable price. So expect him to be buying the SG on the T side.
So what you're saying is Vinny is a renaissance man.
He knew this was happening.
He knew it. In fact, there is a chance that Vinny... Okay, I guess there's really no chance that Vinny works for Valve. That would
probably
be
not
a real conflict of interest.
Well, I don't know. If you work... I guess because you'd know the game inside and out.
Yeah. I mean, there were some teams that were privy to going to the Valve office
Sure.
pretty early on in the creation of the game, and for obvious reasons, sort of like the conflict that we have in front of us, that of Avangar and Furia. It looks like we're just about ready to get into the pistol round, Chad. I see James furiously shaking that mouse.
I've got a few more notes for the pistol round that I'd written down.
Okay, what do you got?
In some of the games that I watched from the demos, and especially over different maps, the Inferno, the Cage pistol rounds, which you highlighted, they buy a lot of utility. HEs are always kind of comboed because people tend to play a lot more regular spots on pistol rounds. So if they go for a basic A player, I think we might see the HEs towards Ticket or maybe towards Jungle. I'm not sure. I know they've had a long time to boot camp now, so... Didn't actually catch the Ninjas in Pajamas versus Furia game earlier, so let's see what they're able to pull out here. Utility has been bought. Smoke 2 flashes for Quesarado and Art with the P250 smoke flash. It will be an A play coming on in.
Yeah, and it looks like they might want to do this with the quickness. They've already expended these smokes here, one on top of the stairs and one blocking off that vision from jungle, and they're going to try to flood out onto this A site, and they're going to do it with success. Backing Prison off his ticket booth. They now have all the room to run, but this flank was not flanky enough. K. Serrato taking out Kukert there with the Glock, and that's going to be a very convincing set of kills coming from Vinny as well. The bomb being planted, and that flash into CT spawn is going to bode really badly unless Jam can continue to put up big numbers here. 2 kills in the round already. Looks to grab a third and fourth, can't seem to do it, and Furia walk away with the pistol round here on Mirage.
Just to note, Furia have done in a few of the games that I've watched those wall smokes on top of stairs and to cover off connector / jungle, and what they actually do is they posture 2 players towards a ramp and have 3 players come through middle. So maybe Avangar, if they've watched the same demos, were expecting a similar strategy, but this time round, everybody busting out the A ramp. Normally when you see a strat like this, people peel out of Palace and then attack CT. They've gone straight up the guts, they've got stuck in, and they've made sure that those rotations are completely and utterly neutered.
Yes, indeed, Chad. And the guns are going to come out in a flurry here. We do got 2 SMGs, one UMP, one MAC-10, a Galil, and 2 AKs on the side of Furia. And, well, Avangar going to be fiscally responsible as it does look like Furia has made their way up to Catwalk, taking a little bit of damage there. They need to get going something, at least a 2-pronged attack. Art working his way up to Catwalk with conviction now, and the Zeus coming through. You love to hear it. It's not going to be too much done, but it was an instant kill. It was guaranteed. Jame able to pick up that ump, continue the fight there on the side of Avangar. Well, there's quite a bit of sprinting going on around us. Don't really know if that's a good sign or a bad sign. The real sign here is that K. Serrato causing just a little bit of pain there from the side of the arches. And Fitch, with the USP, could only have hoped to finish off that enemy-enabled J on Catwalk. Didn't happen. Furia wins the round. And, well, 2 victims there falling. That is a little bit of damage to the economy. Probably not enough.
Was easy enough, but normally what they go into now, or what I've seen a few times, is a B execute, that set piece with the 2 pillar smokes, and they attack the bomb site. But that's when they've saved SMGs. This time around, the SMGs they had went down. They've mainly got rifles going into this one. It's a good noise, isn't it? Maybe they need a new voiceover for that.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Or we could get new submitted stuff. There's a lot going on here as Jane wants to get aggressive in the mid-region with the AWP. He's going to have fantastic movement, but look how quick this is. It's a fast B split. Already up cat. 1:40 left on the clock. Art is a madman.
Yeah, Art really trying to pressure the boundaries right here of the defense that is Avangar. Worked his way all the way up Catwalk and flexing back to this window room right now. Spotting Jame on the other side of the smoke and doing significant damage. Finally finishing him off, and it's going to put Jame out of the round and that AWP for the time being. Not a whole lot of utility to play with here on the side of Avangar, nor do they have a kit in their possession. They're going to have to hold off this advance from Furia very, very early on here. Buster being backed away from that van. Art continuing the warpath. Now really displaced all the members of Avangar in this B site. K. Serrato finding a kill, and the replies there by Fitch. Finds 2. Staying alive as long as possible. Looks for the third. Almost does it to him, but K. Serrato does, in fact. Headshot Fitch there with the AK. And now Krisen with the AWP in hand. Again, no kit. Does have a flash. He's about to get flanked. And he does, in fact, get flanked. Vinny Vici. And that is the round, Chad Burchill. That is the way it all came together.
That was a very quick pace, like we touched on, but the fact that they can get that up and so quickly into Ven Room, up Cat, that puts a lot of pressure on the CTs who weren't able to establish any map control. And as you can see here, the in-game leader leading by example, 2 phenomenal frags there, and it's forced a pistol upgrade out of Avangar, who have a couple of deagles, P250. James had to be very modest on this one with the USP because he wants to get the AWP up. Flash over the A ramp. Art again happy to take the jewels with the AK-47 in hand. Has a little bit of backup lingering behind, ready for a trade. He's going to play behind his smoke.
Yeah, and he just misses the arm and barrel there of Fitch. And if they play the smokes just right as they begin to fade, this could be fatal if he gets caught with this Molotov out.
Very noisy.
That is going to be a bad, bad omen there. They're going to get burnt alive, but fortunately, they're going to keep their lives. Fitch takes down Art. Quite a bit of TK, a little blue-on-blue action here. Kukert takes down Fitch, and then Krisen putting the nails in K. Serrato's coffin. This one is a little sloppy here from the side of Avangar. And yes, that's right. That's not really how you want that round to go down. Of course, they do still have the numbers advantage, and now they're going to be trying to group up and perhaps hit B here as this bomb works its way through these B halls.
Yeah, well, there's pressure on right now. It is going to be difficult for the likes of Furia to clear the bomb site safely. They don't have enough players to cover all the choke points, all the positions. Slammed down by Kristen, who's had a huge impact so far. Buster's going to light up Yuri, and Abel now left in a 1-on-3 situation. 35 seconds left on the clock with 3 heads to find. The bomb is down. He's creeping and gets tagged from Cat, and that's a round stolen back from Avangar. They're not done yet.
That's right, Chad. They're not out of the fight just yet, but the pending sneeze I had right in a crucial moment of that round forced me to remove the headset. Some headsets were removed there. A little bit of friendly fire, not something you want to have going into the round. Yeah, it was really messy there, and really that Molotov did kind of force them into that position underneath the balk where the carnage did ensue. Now we've got a full-on purchase game on our hands. We've got an AWP in the hands of James. The Krieg coming out for Vinny, and he's not even going to be able to scope it once. James will be putting that op to work, taking him out of the round early on. Now we're going to see that smoke coming from Connector there on the side of Furia.
Oh,
you gotta have that.
Again, yeah, you
gotta have that. Gotta have that.
Just for the sound cues.
That's right. It's true. 3 members have fallen on Furia, and this gun round has gone completely wrong. The remaining 2 members there underneath the window. They do have the bomb. Might try to get something going here. It looks like a little bit of a catwalk boost. Maybe they can catch an off angle and take down, I believe it's Buster there on catwalk.
Getting busted.
Could be getting busted, or he could just be letting them pass through. Now, these angles that Avangar find themselves holding defensively don't really give them a whole lot of room, and as soon as the call comes in, there's going to probably be this swing off a catwalk. It's not going to come in time, though. They're going to be able to get out of the connector, find their way into jungle. James is there with the AWP. Serrato falls. Now up to Uria, and he's kind of giving away his position with that missed spray of the Galil. Now it's all but a hope and a dream, but will ultimately end up as a meme. James plasters him against the wall. And that's another round there for Avangar.
Well, even if the likes of Furia smash open the piggy bank right now, they're not going to be finding even pennies in there because everybody is under 2K in the bank. So they can either let the loss bonus accumulate now and take a full eco, or just maybe a P250 buy, or if they have something up their sleeve, if they have a set piece, if they have a little magical trick that they've been working on that they can get done with this amount of dollary dues, that could be an option as well. But it will just be the Glock Eco heading over towards the B bomb site. 2 flashes for Yuri in hand. This will just be an explosion. The best they can do is hope for a kill, maybe get the bomb down. Anything more, and they have really over-exceeded expectations.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, they do have these 2 flashes. We've seen what they could do with it a little earlier in the last half, but this is really hoping something comes to fruition here. You got to hope for a luckily, you hit a one-off, you get a goose, you get a dink in here. But Fitch and the entrenched CTs of Avangar will have complete control over this B site. And this is just going to be a kill frenzy here as Fitch takes down the remaining member in Yuri. It's going to go this up to 10-11. Avangar back in the game. Now we do have a pretty even score line. Avangar really close, but now we're going to see some guns coming out yet again on the side of Furia, Chad. And I don't know if that bodes completely well. I mean, it doesn't seem as though they've necessarily gotten that sort of pace that they want to get going yet.
Well, you hate to hear this, but this one smells like overtime.
Well, it is what it is.
And that's sometimes just the way the cookie crumbles. As it will be a top mid smoke as per the standard, just to give the feeling of a default. Flashes to allow the player of Yuri to get across towards the mid box. He's going to be throwing out a smoke grenade as they are pivoting over towards the B bomb site. That aggressive smoke from Serrato means the jump spot from the van or the pivot position from deep is unable to be monitored, and the spam battle will force out utility. The window boost right now is very important.
Yes, very, very important. There's actually no one there to sort of check that, to sort of contain it, sort of cordon the window area off.
Look at this, he's got free rotation right now. We're not catching it, but Art's able to grab one.
Yep, and that's that window play coming into fruition. They did find that kill. Now they know that that player's in the window room. They're going to have to fight a war on 2 fronts here. Definitely not something that Avangar wanted to do in this round, but they've got them all flustered out of position. James being the only hope here on the A site right now. AWP is going to go ahead and elect to smoke his own ramp off and back out of there. Maybe, just maybe, they're going to try to escape with these weapons because as this round went so wrong for them, they know they can't really contest right now with 5 members alive on Furia and what will be the 12th round on the board for the Brazilian side. James and Fitch saving an AWP and AK respectively.
It's quite a anticlimactic round in the sense of Avangar can't even fight for this one. Once that happens, once that gap is exploited, that rotation's found, that's all over. That's all she wrote.
You should try it, Chad. It feels good.
You doing it amuses me enough. So
It's fine. I'm done. There's no Zeus kills. I just made that with my own mouth. So.
The only clown around I do is I juggle.
Oh, do you?
Yep, Henry was teaching me.
Nice. One clown teaching the profession to another clown. I can see where that kind of worked out for both of you. Sort of like that round working out for Furia as they do come alive, or excuse me, come away very much alive there with the weaponry. Putting the 12th one on the board. Avangar now needing to take a timeout, hit the drawing board, going back to the books. Very necessary timeout. This is a very crucial time where the game can start to slip away from you should you falter any at all going in the later parts of the second half. Looks like a real monk-ass situation over there, Chad.
I still don't know what these things mean.
You know what? You can Google it, or you can get, in line with the rest of the world, i.e. Twitch chat, because that's the only world that exists. We do have another round on our hands, round number 23 to be exact, out of a projected 30. Could be
more.
60, could be
bonus rounds.
200 rounds. Could be the longest game, but perhaps James will be turning the tide right here. Starting with that AWP kill on Abel. Chad, I gotta wonder what the idea was there. Did you really feel like you guys were in such control of the matchup that you could just run guns a-blazing up catwalk?
This is their style, though. It's so fast-paced, right? And they rely on finding the gaps and hoping that their flashes and utility usage are good enough that they're not going to get picked off. But Avangar are a young group of players who are happy to take heads-up duels. They play modern and Counter-Strike, and they've seen these tricks time and time again. So they're able to stop it. They're able to punish this. Abel's going to go down early without a response, and this is where it slows. If they're able to get the positioning on the map, which we've been able to see earlier, that forces the CTs to rotate. Now this is where Art and his mid-round in-game leadership really comes into play. They don't really have map territory to make too many calls. There's 54 seconds left on the clock, and they haven't taken any real parts of the map.
But they do have, or at least Avangar do had a pretty good pinch there on the middle area. For what it's worth, they're not going to be tried there at all. Abel being out of the round, Furia now going to have to try to group up as best they can, perhaps leave one there for the backstab, and that would be Art, who has been pretty influential in this matchup overall. But now would be the time to really thwart off what the rotation would be, because this B hit was looming. Now they're going to go ahead and back away, and Art walking out of the connector is going to prove to be fatal. The timing just was not there.
Now they need to save.
Perhaps the timing overall is not there, Chad. They're just going to get 8 alive here. There's 10 seconds on the clock. There's actually nothing that they can do in this moment to rectify this situation.
Here's the thing. They don't need to go for that fast mid-control play every round. You can do it a bit slower. You can do it a little bit more methodical. You can take the duels together. You can make sure you have trade potential. Don't always just go for that Hail Mary play. I know that the speed allows for you to find gaps and force the rotations with the CTs, but that can't be the only way to play, because once that's figured out, you find yourself in a lot of trouble.
Well, Chad, you want to talk about Hail Mary plays, and some of you did just that with the pick'em, because right now, if you put Windstrike in your pick'em column, you might be dancing a little bit too early. But it is 14-9, pending a 15th round here for Windstrike, Chad. B stream popping off, A stream smelling like overtime. If there's one thing I like, it's a good barbecue. Perhaps we'll get one of those in these rounds. Could be Brazilian at that. We're going to see the execute come out onto this A site. Full on execute. Full commit there. Smokes out and about.
Love
Trying
the
to get
boost.
some sort of boost going here on the CT ticket side of things, but not putting it to much use yet. They have spotted the player towards Firebox. Kuker going to find the kill there onto Abel J, really kind of keeping them in this round with a numbers game. I think with a 45. Going up on top of the ticket, grabs another one onto Art, and that's another big scalp to take. 3 members alive here to defend this Planet Bomb, and Furia, Caserado, Vinny, and Uria definitely got their work cut out for them. 5 alive on Avangar. Caserado with a pretty crucial point there, as he has posted up inside this connector.
2 flashes left. These could be pivotal right now, but no one's really in a position to throw it. Vinny's got his out, but
big kill from Caserado. Big kill from Caserado again, taking down Crizin. And as he does finally fall, it's up to Vinny. He's going to have to peek this, shoot the diffuser.
Time.
Does it go for it? Does he go for the diffuser? He grabs it! And a 13th round on the board for Furia. You couldn't make it up if I painted you a picture with Crayolas, Chad.
whoa. Bloody hell, that's a nail-biting moment right there. Playing on the cusp of the smoke, that defuse must have been
close.
Whew.
The hair on my chinny chin.
We
Chad.
say a bee's wick.
Yes. Or, yeah, I mean, there's a whole lot of expressions that we could probably insert there, but...
Everyone died that round.
Yes, that was a very, very valiant play there at the end of the round, and to do it with style. He did it with Krieg.
That's the thing. We talk about Vinny being an early adapter of this, and Sean was talking earlier in a death segment how it's harder to control, or it's a more unusual spray pattern with the SG as opposed to the AUG, and he's just made that look easy. That's a must-win round right there, but even though they're able to grab that one, they're able to snag it, put it up on the board, get the numbers up in lights. As everybody died, they are the ones who are in the, I guess, dramas with the money. They're going to be able to get a bit of a buy, but it's not going to be a full buy by any means. K-Serrado having to compromise, so is Abel with the MAC-10. This might be the B-Execute round I spoke about earlier, Trace, with the pillar smokes.
Yes, it could definitely be that. And this could also be a really bad omen for Fnatic. Match point over there for Winstrike 15-9. Just to keep you up to speed with the B-Stream, is we're going to try to follow the pace of Furia going into, well, what could very well be their 14th round on the board. Double ops on the side of Avangar.
This is it. This is the strat.
This looks like the B play. It looks as though they're going to be trying to work towards that B site, and right now the only people there defending it is going to be Buster and Fitch. Having two players in the site could be the omen that is the thorn in the side of Furia, but right now the nades are going to rain out. Fitch finding the opening frag of the round here. Buster with another one. AWP trying to get a second one. Can't seem to secure the shot through the windows there. And Fitch, well, has kept it very much in the court here for Avangar. They are holding tight. They do know Abel has to be here. They smell him out, sniff him out. Abel goes down and a round on the board.
This is the shallowness now of Furia's strat pool, right? The fact is, if I can call that one coming, I'm pretty sure Avangar is going to know something similar on the cards, right? They know how to deal with that execute. They've watched the demos. They know the tendencies too. And you can see Fitch is more than ready for K-Serrado jumping out that window. Buster actually tagged a player through the wall, softening him up to make it a little bit easier as they've trickled on through. And now they have to go for another force buy situation. As you can see, those pistols are all being brought up. Another MAC-10. Let's see if they have anything else that they can throw at this Avangar lineup. Because if you run at them, if you give them heads-up duels, individuals will take those every day.
Every day of the week, Chad, and that's where you'll find us here in Katowice, Poland for the Intel Extreme Master Supreme Major. These teams have a long way to go before they can consider themselves in that sort of running for the very tip-top prize. But this is the very start for these new challengers. Krizen here. Aware now, James also aware, he's going to find the kill there on the boosted art into the window room. That time, the boost did not pay off for Furia. If anything, that's probably throwing an even bigger wrench in the works of what they were trying to get going. Their buy was not necessarily pretty, but they put up what they can. 2 CZs and 2 P250s. They also have these 2 flashes. With a little bit of armor across the board there, they're basically walking into some crosshairs at this point and hoping that it goes right. And wow, what a dirty spray from Krizen. He's only able to take down Abel J, but can't seem to finish the job. Another kill from K-Serrado. 3 members alive here for Furia. Chad, this is, I wouldn't say doable as that kill comes into Vinny.
Nothing's impossible, but at this point with 9 HP and 4 on the likes of Yuri, this one probably isn't going to be falling in their favor. As I say, fault. One more of the T's has hit the dirt. K-Serrado left alive. This is a gargantuan task with 21 seconds left on the clock. Even if he get the plant, that would be a victory, but he's going to fall. And now, Avangar are likely going to go to 14 rounds as there's no choice for Furia but to take a save. They really can't go for another buy here.
You know, they can't really wait it out much longer. Take a quick look at some of the numbers here. We do know that it's going to be a pretty terrible buy, in fact, should Furia buy anything, but can't see a world where that happens. Meanwhile, Avangar sitting very pretty here, as well as James topping the leaderboard, 23 and 14 with 82 ADR. It's been a pretty big team effort on their side. Now the B hit is on with a fast pace. It's going to be Buster, and he's going to get flashed off right now. Fitch is there, grabs one, go for 3. No, he gets shut down by Art before he can find the third. Buster getting in on the fight as well, taking down Abel. And this hit has been sort of stopped in its tracks as Buster's going to continue that rampage, busting him down. Art class is not in session. James finishing it off, and Chad, that was kind of expected.
This has to be a timeout right now from Furia. And there it is. It's being called. They had 2 left. You've actually hit the breaking point right now for them. If they're unable to grab this gun round, that's the game. Pack your bags. You're going home for the evening because you'll be back tomorrow to play. But they'll be 0-2 and finding themselves 1 best of 3 away from elimination in the challenger stage here at the major. And like I'm saying, I'm not seeing enough depth in their T side. We've seen the fast plays work, sure, but as soon as it's cottoned onto, it's getting locked down, it's getting stopped in its tracks, and they're unable to find any traction.
And the reality of the situation is this: at 14-13 and all the money over here on the side of Avangar, there's not a round left in this game in regulation where they're not going to have utility, they're not going to have the money, they're not going to have the weaponry that they need to put all the necessary pieces against Furia. So no matter what, this is going to be an uphill battle. And they are going to elect to buy in this last-ditch effort to sort of turn the tide here. See that mid-peak? The fearless Yuri out there at the top. Can't seem to spot anyone on his cross. He was pretty heavily smoked off. His flashes did rain over. He does spot one there in the smoke, and James is going to get the lesser end of the equation.
Big scalp.
Yes, big scalp indeed, Chad. In fact, if you take a look, James being 24-15 on the board, that is certainly the guy you want to take out of the round if you want to keep things going your way. But as it stands, Furia is still kind of stuck here in this middle area. They're going to have to find one way or the other where they want to take this one. Crizzen kind of aware now. They do know that they have been exploiting this sort of window boost.
Look at this gamble stack as well, Trace. If you look at the map in the top left of the corner, they've all rotated over towards the A bomb site, hedging their bets on this attack.
Yeah, this one's going to prove to be pretty nasty here. They do have the player in window. Q-Kurt unaware, but there's a real possibility. You can tell he doesn't want to leave himself exposed. He knows that it was smoked off, and there's a real chance that there is a player from Furia in there, and he's exactly right. Of course, not fast enough. He will be punished for it. And the hit is on now through the connector. Crizzen finds 1, finds 2 humongous frags there, and Furia falling like dominoes. Fitch goes undetected and sandwiched and is able to shoot Vinny in the back. Caserado getting in on the round as well. Buster with the AWP here towards Ticket, and we're going to see what he can do. This would be a hell of a time to come online and shine, which is exactly what he's going to hope to do. He does have a kit. The time is running low. The bomb is here on the A site, and the teammate for Furia trying to catch up through connector. He's going to hear this plant. He's got to know. Oh, missing that shot could prove to be disastrous. Going to go ahead and switch to the CZ. Needs to grab this kill in Caserado before they close on and pincer him right inside of the site. Finds one. He looks for the second. Can't do it. Caserado put another round on the board here for Furia. 14-14. But Chad.
Could it all be in vain, Trace?
It could all be in vain. Or the vein that just went down on the B stream. That match is over. You know what that means, right?
That means Windstrike just upset Fnatic, the highest seeded team here at the challenger stage.
Yes, that is correct. Now, these were 0-1 matches, and if we take a look at it, this could be an F and chat situation, a real Bible thump one for Fnatic fans and fans of Swedish Counter-Strike across the globe, because that's going to be a tough one to sleep on tonight.
Yeah, they're definitely not going to be happy with how that has all unfolded. And right here, right now, the reason that I'm saying that it is a bit of a drama for the likes of Furia is because, well, I was going to say that they don't have enough money to get everything they need, but they still have a Krieg, AWP, an AK-47 from Caserado, have a Galil in the hands of Yuri, and Abel is going to have to make some compromises here. He has 30... Oh, he has just bought his way in. Never mind. He's gone for the MAC-10 and full utility, so let's see what play they opt for here.
Let's see what they can do. James now needing to really do something with this AWP he's been entrusted with again. He's been doing enough in this matchup so far, but it's no time to slack now. 14-14 in the B hit from Caserado. More of a solo play. You're going to see if he can find a pick. You can imagine that if he does find this kill, it'll be a full pivot from Furia to hit this B bomb site with a quickness. Little do they know, though, Avangar having already sent 3 that way, already having 2 extras in addition to what is Fitch.
Caserado is so brave there. If he goes down, if he doesn't get anything done in that situation, that's basically round, just because of how fast-paced that was. The AK-47, he's now dropped that over and swapped it with Abel.
And, you know, the reality is we know that once something has happened to Furia here, once they do get picked off on one, if they lose a member on either side of this map, there's not a whole lot that they're doing to capitalize on that, Chad. That's the unfortunate reality. They do get picked apart there, and we've seen it, at least in the last matchup, was a tendency. We're seeing it sort of again here. And at this stage of the game, it's not really where you want to start falling apart.
No, and this is why I was theorizing we could potentially find ourselves in overtime, because if Furia have another close round, we know that those miracle situations from Avangar are going to get pulled on out. Is this going to be a slow B split? We haven't seen any success in these slow late rounds from them thus far, unless someone steps up and does a massive clutch, and Fitch, it's the first nail in the coffin from this round. Buster, he's going to find one. James chimes in as well. Yuri's going to get one, but is it going to be enough? Because Vinny, his scope's on up. The damage is done with the Krieg. He fires away. He gets the kill. The bomb site is open. The bomb is there to be planted. 14 seconds left on the clock. They're going to dial in the digits, or maybe not. Faking the plant. They're posturing strangely. Molotov's now landing in. That is the end of the round. And Avangar find match point.
Yeah, and my goodness, Chad, that... Yeah, you know, you kind of have to say, yes, he did go for the fake plant. Probably think he was making the right move, but just unfortunate that player there on Catwalk was able to catch him with his pants down.
Yeah, well, we know how frustrating that was against some of the teams, the North America minor, when they got control of areas of the map, they would just posture. But here, with only 11 seconds left on the clock, it's a bit hard to do the same. Wanting to do that fake plant to draw out a player and maybe grab yourself an easy kill. The concept, it makes sense. The theory, it's all there. But that flank from Kiko coming from Cat was more than enough. And now, you can see there on the bottom right of the screen, look at this buy.
And look at this timeout, too. They know that this round, it does have a huge implication. They're looking at potentially winning the matchup, or maybe even taking it to overtime. If we look at the numbers in the meantime, Chad, it's been a pretty good story here to be told for the side of James. A little bit of Fitch chiming in, too, if we're talking about strictly numbers.
Yeah, I don't think that you could say anybody is being a huge anchor or deficit. Most players have had moments. Everybody's contributing across the board. And it all comes down to this, round number 30. That's
absolutely correct. And Furia scrounging together what they can, which will literally just be a few pistols and some utility. This will be one of those miracle rounds, should they pull it off. 15-14 is your score. Avangar on the brink of taking home this map on round 30. Kukert with the very ballsy peek there, and he had all the time in the world. Unfortunately, only able to take out Queserado before he is taken down by Abel. Now we're going to see some of this utility used here on the A side. You can tell Furia really haven't given themselves any sort of option, and James finding that kill is a big one as well. Stopping them in their tracks as they try to cross over into the site right now. A huge shot from James. He takes down Vinny, and this one is not smelling good if you're a Furia fan. I hate to say it. Krisen grabbing another one, that is all she wrote. The defuse will come in with conviction and with relative ease. Avangar taking it 16-14. We had to go all the rounds on this one map, Chad. You wouldn't have it any other way as we push to the late hours of the evening.
Yeah, an exciting game there ending in all 30 rounds. You'd love to see it. It would be a bit disappointing if you are a Furia fan. They did have some moments. Lack of variety on their T side could be a big letdown for them. But all in all, now we have Furia 0-2 and Avangar 1-1 in the Swiss format thus far.
Yeah, and some pick'ems are definitely taking some L's today, Chad. And I hate to say it, but Furia is not really showing me that sort of innovation that we kind of touted them for and seeing in the minor system and up to this point.
Their moves have gotten old very quick, and so have we. We're going to throw this one to a break, and we'll come back with the next game as soon as humanly possible. Stick with us.
Yow!